Our celebrity guest for today was born in Angola and raised in Cuba. He's multilingual, speaking Portuguese, Spanish, and English. And this DJ has called South Africa his home for the past 17 years. He adds much vibrancy and skill to the profession that has captured his heart and soul. DJ Dino, bravo. Welcome to Spirit Sunday, man.
Thank you for having me.
Man, tell me about the journey before you came to South Africa. You know, how was your upbringing where you grew up?
My upbringing was cool. Angola was a bit boring, so I had to be sent off to Cuba, which pretty much all the music, all the vibrancy, all the atmosphere, the good atmosphere happened. It was in Cuba. I went on a boarding school.
Okay.
I studied with people from many countries.
Yeah.
We like in the middle of nowhere, in an island, nowhere to go.
And all you gotta do is stay there.
All you gotta do is study.
Nice.
You see, in Cuba, the boarding schools are exactly where they should be, in the middle of nowhere. So you should focus on one thing and one thing only, study.
And talk to me about your family, you know, while you were growing up and you were moving up and down, but you know, how important is the role of your family in your life?
You see, the thing is, actually, I spend a lot of time apart from my family. From a very young age, I left Angola when I was 12, and I only returned at the age of 18.
Wow.
So I spend a lot of time away from my family and also get moving, live with dad for some time and then live with mom. But family has been important. They'll be there, they'll be supporting me all the way. But you know, I had to do what I had to do, which is go and finish my studies.
For sure, but you know, you've lived apart from your family, your mom and dad, where most young kids, for example, in SA right now, some of them are living with their parents. How important was that discipline for you, you know, to be a young person at that time and be so focused and disciplined to reach your dream?
It was very important in the fact that, you know, all that was implemented to me when I was young is what makes me the person that I am today. I could not have done it without my family. Without them, I'll be lost. I'll be lost.
Speaking of the person that you are today, you like, what? I can say one of the best DJs we have, not in South Africa, in Africa. And I think people get that, you know, they forget about that because we have you here in South Africa and we can enjoy your music on our local radio stations like 5FM. But this passion of music, where did it all start?
It all started when I was in boarding school in Cuba. You see, the good thing about Cuba, there's music everywhere. And every corner where they go, there is somebody playing a guitar, there is somebody playing the drums, there's somebody dancing on the streets, and the music passion really came from there. The DJing part it came a bit later. You know, I always loved music, but you know, DJing was the furthest thing from my mind. Actually, I always wanted to be a fireman.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So from fireman, you now a DJ. Wow. Okay, take me to that moment when you then got in, when you got to South Africa and you were starting off and telling people maybe that you were a DJ and visiting radio stations. What were the challenges that you faced when you did get to South Africa?
You know, the challenges were huge. I couldn't speak any of the languages. And, you know, South Africa is just being freed from apartheid. You know, South Africans felt like they were being invaded by immigrants. It's cool to think like that, but you know, in a way, we were here to fly the South African flag and not the other way around. It was extremely difficult, but you know, I got into it by chance. A friend of mine took me to a pub one day and the DJ was drunk and and he told me, hey, you like music, why don't you go and play some music? You know, I knew nothing about the equipment and I just go there and I start playing and the people loved it for some strange reason. And it just kicked off from there, never stopped.
I mean, with all these challenges that you've lived as a kid and even when you got to SA, what keeps you going? What keeps you keep on saying you're going to move on? You know, you could have gotten to South Africa and because you don't understand Sesotho, Xhosa and Afrikaans, you could have said, no, you know what, I'm going to go back to Angola and I'm going to go back to Cuba. What keeps you, you know, going? What's your spirit like? I
love South Africa. That is really what keeps me in this country. I love this country so much that I traded my own country to come and live it. I love this country, the love for this country, the energy that I get from people. That is what keeps me going. But you know, most importantly, I love this country more than anything.
Nice.
That keeps me going.
And speaking of spirituality, you know, the time that you work, you know, you DJ, you flying in, flying out from one country to another city. Where's your spirituality? How do you connect?
Well, I pray like 10 to 15 times a day.
Sure.
Before I go into anything, I say a prayer.
What?
Before I get into any stage, before I get into any club, when I wake up in the morning, before I go to bed, it's like it's part of my life.
Yeah. And you can imagine the shock that's on my face right now, because people are thinking, DJs, you know, they live the life, they get the girls and everything like that. Is prayer that important to you? And how important should prayer be in whatever faith that you believe in the world?
Prayer is important in the fact that, you know, I'm connecting with a higher being.
Yeah.
He will, you know, through the prayer will give me the strength and tell me that, you know, your path will be clear and you'll be just fine, my son. Go ahead and do what you got to do.
Oh, man. Well, there are a lot of young people that want to become you one day, or that want to become a DJ, and you've played in front of some of the biggest crowds that any normal DJ would ever play in. What message would you say to those young Mzansi viewers right now that are, you know, they're looking at us and they're going, I want to be like DJ Bravo?
First and foremost, get an education.
Yeah.
Don't just think that you can drop off school and become me the next day.
Yeah.
Finish your education. Your education will serve you well when you're trying to become somebody like me. Because through education, you go very far. It will educate you, you know the right ways to go about, how to give a demo, how to approach another person. All those things come through education. So first and foremost, educate yourself.
Yeah.
Second, do research on what you really want to do.
Yes.
Do research. You know, DJs don't just come and start.
Yes. Yeah.
Do research in the profession, do research in the music, and then take the next step, learn about the art.
I like how you say that DJ is a profession where some young people are doing it as a hobby. How important is it to know that business aspect of it? You know, because you can go into Soweto or Tembisa right now, everyone says to you they're a DJ, but maybe don't have those practical business knowledge. What would you say to them?
Get that experience. That experience is very simple. It comes from research. You don't just see a DJ playing and then all of a sudden you're going home and say, okay, for now I'm also a DJ.
Yeah.
That's not how it starts.
Yeah.
You need to do research. It's like a school project.
For sure.
Before you get an A, you gotta study. You gotta do research on the subject that you're studying on.
Yeah.
So your subject is music. You are not the first one and you will not be the last.
Yeah.
Therefore, you need to know where it all comes from.
Yes.
How did it start? And how can you achieve the level that some of the DJs like myself and many others have achieved? All comes through research and study.
Dino Bravo, tell us about the album that's coming out recently and what can we expect?
The album is coming out early in September.
Yeah.
It's called 100% Dino Bravo. It's pretty much a combination of my life work.
Wow.
Because that might be the last album I'm going to release in a very long time. So.
Trust me, it's not going to be the last album. Thank you very much for coming to Spirit Sunday and making time to come speak to our viewers.
Thanks for having me.
Mangabe ufuna ukwazi kabanzi ngokuthi uDJ Dino Bravo uzobe adlala kuphi, ungamlandela lapha ku Twitter na ku Facebook, noma uye ku www.dinobravo.dj uthole nama SoundCloud akhe. Mbukeli, asike sithathe ikhefu lethu lokuqala, masibuya sizofunda kabanzi ngeZion Women of Gauteng, sibone umsebenzi wabo, asihlangane emva kwekhefu.